Up to now you had discussed different HTML form tags. With the help of those form tags and different HTML tags, you are able to design a static web page. And at the end, you already designed a registration form using all the different form elements. So the next topic you are going to discuss in the unit 1 is CSS. So what is meant by CSS? Already in the objectives you had discussed that with the help of CSS, the student is able to apply different styles to the static web pages. So what is meant by a CSS? So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Next, a style language, a CSS is nothing but a style language mainly used to design the HTML documents, nothing but it will describe how the HTML content will be displayed on the web page. So what the content has to be displayed on the web page will be decided by the HTML, whereas how to display the content on the web page will be taken care by the CSS. So HTML defines the structure of the web page, while CSS define how the elements are to be displayed on the web page. So what can I do with the CSS? So you are able to apply different font colors, different sizes to your corresponding text, and you are able to apply different families to the corresponding text, and you are able to apply different background colors and images on your web page. And next you are also able to apply a different width and height for your block elements and inline elements. And next you are also able to apply different margins, different borders and different padding content to your web page. So next you are going to discuss about history of CSS. So in CSS had been designed in the year 1996. The first version is described as CSS1. Here the CSS1 enables the user to set different font sizes. You are also able to align text either in the center, left or right, and also you are able to apply different body margins to your text, and you are able to apply different background colors to your static web pages. And the second version came in the year 1998. It is termed as CSS2. So there it included features such as you are able to apply different styles for the different input and output devices, and you are also able to controlling the appearance and the behavior of your browser features. And the next one is the CSS3. It had came in the year 2005. So here you are able to apply different effects to your text, like different drop shadows and different web fonts and different semi-transparent colors and different box outlines and different rotating page elements. So this is about the history of CSS. Next you are going to discuss about CSS syntax. So CSS comprises of different style rules that are interpreted by the browser and then applied to the content and how to display the elements on the web page. So this will be taken care by the CSS. So the syntax for the CSS is a selector followed by the property value pair. So what is a selector and what is meant by a property value pair? So if you see here in this example, this is called as a selector and followed by different set of property value pairs, nothing but this attribute is called as a property and the value for the attribute is termed as a value. This is also called a property value pair. So within the corresponding property value pair, you can write any number of property value pairs. So this is called as a selector. So nothing but any element of any HTML element, nothing but any tags, nothing but h1 tag or h2 tag or any p tag. And these are the properties that had been applied to the corresponding selectors, nothing but a property value pair. Next, see, you are going to discuss about different CSS selectors. So what is the purpose of these CSS selectors? The CSS selectors are mainly used to find the different HTML elements in the web document to which you want to apply different styles. So you are able to apply styles based on the element name, based on the element ID, class, attribute and more. So based on these contents, you are able to identify different selectors in the CSS. So different CSS selectors are element type selector, ID selector, class selector, grouping selector and universal selector. These are some of the CSS selectors. So first you are going to discuss about element selector. So what is meant by an element selector? So it will select the elements based on the element name. So how the element selector will select? Based on the element name, nothing but based on the tag name, that is a p tag or h tag, h2 tag, like that. Next you can select all the p elements on a page like this. So by using the element selector you are able to select a particular element in the whole web page. If you take a p tag, then all the p elements in the web page will be selected and corresponding styles will be applied to the corresponding p tag. So example for the element selector is, here I am taking a p tag. So this is the selector followed by different set of property value page. This is called as attribute and this is called as value. So for whatever the content written in the p tag, for that content you are applying the text alignment as center and you are applying the color is red. So for all the p elements in the web page, so all the p tags will get the text will be aligned in the center and a red color will be applied to the corresponding text in the p tag. So this is the example for the element selector. Here I am taking one more element, that is UL tag. So where you have to write these selectors. So within the head part you have to use a tag called style tag. So within the style tag you have to write all these types of selectors. Here I am using the element selector. So here I am taking the UL tag. And if you see within the body section, so here you can take within the body, within the body tag I am taking a 2 UL tags. This is one UL tag and this is one more UL tag, nothing but a unordered list. So here I am displaying a list of items. So for this list of items I am applying these styles. Okay. So for this UL tag, so I had taken the elements, that is fish, apple, cheese. So these are the list of items in one UL tag, and in the one more UL tag I had taken the items water, juice and maple syrup. So for these two types of UL tags I am applying the style, that is color, some hexadecimal value, and you are applying some border with the different properties, nothing but a solid. The border will come in the style solid with a 3 pixel width and a color some hexadecimal value. So if you see the output, so this is the content in the first UL tag, and next this is the content in the second UL tag. So for this content you are having, so you had given the color, some blue color, and next this is the color given to the border. So if you see in the output, so for this list of items you had get a blue color, and for the border you are having 3 pixel width of style solid, and next will appear in some cement color. And for the next UL tag also you are applying the same properties, that is it will get the elements in the blue color with a border solid and with the color cement color and with a 3 pixel width. So this is the output for the corresponding program. So this is the example for the element selector. So next selector you are going to discuss in the CSS selectors is ID selector. So based on the ID you will select the corresponding elements in the web page. So the ID selector uses the ID attribute. So in the tags you are having one more attribute, that is ID. So based on the ID you will select the corresponding element to which you want to apply the styles. So the ID of an element should be unique. So the ID whatever you are using in the different tag, it must be unique value. So the example for this ID selector is, so here I am taking to select an item with a specific ID. So this is the following syntax for the corresponding ID selector. So you must write the syntax followed by the hash followed by the corresponding ID name. So whatever the name you are giving to the corresponding ID attribute in the tag. So for example, if I had taken a p tag, if for the p tag, if ID equal to some class. So like this you can select a particular P tag with the ID name. So ID must be always unique. No ID will be same. So how to write the syntax for the ID selector? That is a hash symbol followed by the name of the corresponding ID. So here if I am taking ID equal to para 1. So ID value is para 1. So how to write the syntax? A hash followed by the ID value, and within the flower brackets you will write the what are the styles you want to apply to the corresponding element. So here I am taking text alignment center and the color is red. So for the content where ID equal to some para 1, so for that tag these properties will be applied. So this is the example for the corresponding ID selector. So where you have to write the selector within the style tag. So what is the type of selector here we are using? That is ID selector. So if you see in the body, I had taken one H1 tag and 2 P tags. Sorry, you are having 3 P tags. So in the H1 tag I had written welcome to my home page, and next for the 3 P tags I had given IDs. So for the first P tag I had given ID equal to first name, and for the second P tag I am giving ID equal to hometown. Now go to the style tag. So here what I had written, hash followed by the ID value. So if you see I had given ID value. What is the ID value here? So first name. So go to the tag which is having the ID is first name. So if you see here, for this P tag, P ID equal to first name. So only for this tag, you are applying this style. Only for this P tag you are applying this style. What is the style I am applying? That is background color is yellow. So whatever the content written in this P tag, it will be appeared in the yellow at the background. Now see the output. This is the output for the corresponding program. So first what is the text written in the H1 tag? So welcome to my home page. So H1 is the highest weightage. So it is applied in the bold. And next if you see the next P tag, so here P ID equal to so first name. So for the first name what you had applied, a background color is yellow. So for this text only a background color yellow came. And next for the next P tag, I live in Dakbar, and next P tag, so these two will be displayed as normal without applying any properties. So this is about the ID selector. Next selector you are going to discuss in the CSS selectors is universal selector. So when you will use this universal selector? So rather than selecting a single item, if you want to apply the styles to all the elements in the web page, you have to use the universal selector. So the syntax for the universal selector is a star followed by the set of properties. The next selector you are going to discuss in the CSS selectors is universal selector. So instead of selecting a single element in a web page, now you are going to apply a styles to all the elements in the corresponding web page with the help of the universal selector. So the syntax for the universal selector is a star followed by a different set of properties you want to apply to all the elements. If you see here, a star followed by the different properties, that is a color, you had given the value green. Next the font size, you are applying a 20 pixels to all the elements, and next you are giving a line height, nothing but the height between the two lines, that is 25 pixels. So these all properties will be applied to all the elements in the corresponding web page. So this is the example for the universal selector. So within the style tag, I am writing the universal selector. So here I am applying 3 properties, that is color green, font size 20 pixels and line height 25 pixels. So these styles will be applied to all the content within the body part. If you see here within the body, I had written OL tag and UL tag. So for all these items, nothing but all the tags in the body, these properties will be applied. So if you see here within the first list, a green color is applied. So what is the properties you had given here? Color is green. So you are getting a color green. Next with the font size 20 pixels, and what is the line height between each element? That is 25 pixels. So here you are taking how many list items you are taking? One is the OL tag, one is UL tag, and one more a description list. So for these three lists you are applying the same styles. So this is the output for the corresponding program. So for all the list items you got a green color, the line height and corresponding 20 pixel width. So this is the example for the universal selector. The next selector you are going to discuss in the CSS selectors is class selector. So when you will use this class selector? So instead of selecting a particular item, here you will select the class. So based on the class name, you will select the particular item. If you give a name equal to class 1, so what are the elements they are having the class 1 value. So for all the classes you will get the same properties. So the class selector selects items with a specific class attribute. Then to select elements with a specific class, you must write a period followed by the class name. So if you see here, I am taking an example as a class equal to center. So for the tags where it is having attribute class equal to center, so for all the attributes, the corresponding properties will be applied. How to write the syntax? That is a dot. Dot is nothing but a period character. You have to use the period character for using the class selectors. A dot symbol followed by the name of the class. So what is the name of the class here? Center. So dot center and next followed by the list of properties. So here I am taking text element is center and next color is red. So all these properties will be applied to all the tags where the class is having a name center. Next, this is the example for the corresponding class selector. So if you see in the style tag, I am taking two class selectors. One is p.center and other is p.centerlarge. So for seeing the body, in the body I had taken three tags. So first, what is the first tag? Within the h1 tag, I had taken the attribute class equal to center. And next, this is the content I want to display in the h1 tag, that is CSS stands for cascading style sheets. And next tag is a p tag with the class attribute class equal to center. So here this h1 tag and p tag will have the class attribute same, that is class equal to center. And next for one more p tag, I am taking class equal to center large. So for the class names which are having class equal to center, so for the tags these properties will be applied. And for the class where we have class equal to center large, so for that these properties or these styles will be applied. So if you see here, for example I had taken only dot center. Dot center means, so what are the classes which are with the name center? So for these two tags, these properties will be applied. If you see in this output, within the h1 tag I had written CSS stands for cascading style sheets. And the next class where class equal to center, CSS is a language that describes the style of a HTML document. So for these two tags, these properties must be applied. So if you see in the output, so for those two tags, if you see here, they are in the center alignment with a color red. So if you use dot center is nothing but this is the class name for these two tags, that is the h1 tag and the p tag. For those two tags, you are having the alignment is center and the color is red. And if you take a p.centerlarge, for this class you are applying a font size 100%. If you see here in the body, this p tag is having a class attribute class equal to center large. Only for this, these properties will be applied. So what is the property here? A font size will be 100%. So for this text, in the output you will get a 100% font size. So this is the property applied for the corresponding class center large. So this is the output for the corresponding class selector. Next selector you are going to discuss in the CSS selectors is grouping selector. So when you will use this grouping selector? So if you have elements with the same style, if you want to apply a same style to multiple elements in a web document, then you have to use the grouping selector. If you see in this image, here I am taking three tags. One is h1 tag, h2 tag and p tag. For these three tags you are having the same properties, that is text element center, and color red. Textile element center, color red, and textile element center, color red. So for all these three tags you are applying the same properties. At this time you have to use the grouping selector to reduce the coding. So how will you reduce the coding? If you see here, so it will be better to group the element selectors to minimize the code. How will you minimize the code is, so this grouping selector will be separated by commas. So for all these three tags, you will write the code like this: H1, H2, pre. This is called as a grouping selector. So for all these three tags, you are applying the same properties. Instead of writing multiple lines of code, you can simply group these tags and you can write the properties single time. Nothing but H1, H2, P. For all these three tags, you are applying the same properties. So you can write like this: textile element center and color will be red. So these properties will be applied to all these three tags. Next, how to apply styles to your web page. So there are three ways to insert CSS in your web page. So there are three ways mainly. They are divided into three types, that is inline CSS, internal CSS and external CSS. So first you are going to discuss about internal style sheet. So what is meant by an internal style sheet? If you want to apply styles to your web page, you have to write the styles within the style tag. So where to write the style tag? It must be written inside the head tag. So if you want to apply different styles to your web page, you must write the style tag and the style tag must be written inside the corresponding head tag. So an internal style sheet may be used if one single page has a unique style. So where you will use this internal style sheet? If you want to apply a style to your unique page, then you will use this internal style sheet. So this is the example for how to write the internal style sheet. Within the head section, you have to write the tag, that is style tag. Within the style tag, you will write the different types of selectors. Here I am using the element selector. So one is the body and next one is the H1 tag. So for the body content, I am applying the property, that is background color will be linen color, and for the H1 tag, so for the content in the H1 I am applying a color is maroon with a margin left 40 pixels. After that, close the style tag and close the head. And within the body, you will write the content and some H1 tag or some other tags in the web document. So the output for this internal style sheet is, so here for the what are the content that had been written in the H1 tag. So what I had written in the H1 tag, for the H1 tag you will get a color is maroon with a margin left 40 pixels. So if you see here, this is the margin, this is the 40 pixel margin width and this is the content in the H1 tag and it is in the maroon color, and for the body I am applying the linen color. So if you see in this background, so background color is in the linen color. So one more example for the internal style sheet is, so within the head part you have to write the style tag. So that is, here I am writing the element selector, that is H2. So for the H2 tag I am applying the properties font family, color, text element and text transformation. So what are the content I had been written in the H2 tag, for all the content these properties will be applied. If you see within the body I had taken H2 tag, that is hi guys, how are you. So for this content these properties will be applied. This is called as internal style sheet, nothing but writing your styles within the same HTML document. If you see the output, so for the content that had been written in the H2 tag, a font family Tohama had been applied and with the color blue is applied, and next the text alignment is center, and next the text transformation is uppercase. Nothing but for all the content they will appear in the uppercase letters. So the next style sheet you are going to discuss is about inline. So inline is nothing but if you want to apply a style for a single element, then you have to use that style attribute within the same tag. So inline style may be used to apply a unique style for a single element. So to use the inline styles, add the style attribute within the corresponding HTML element. So if you see the syntax, so within the body for the H1 tag, I am applying the style attribute where it is a set of different property value pair. So here what are the styles I am applying? color blue and margin left is 30 pixels for the content written in the H1 tag, that is this is a heading. So for this content these styles will be applied. So this is called as inline style sheet, nothing but writing a style attribute within the single element. So this is termed as inline style sheet, and after that close the body and close the HTML. So see the output. So for the content in the H1 tag, so I am writing the color is blue and the margin left is 30 pixel. So the P tag will be come as normal. So here we are applying only the style to the H1 tag. So next style you are going to discuss in the style sheets are external style sheet. So what is meant by an external style sheet? So external style sheet is a separate text file and with a .css extension. So here you will use this external style sheet separately. Nothing but a .html file will be separate and a .css file will be separated. Here this .css file will be used to apply styles to different HTML files. So how to link the .html file and .css file? So for linking the HTML file and CSS file, you have to use a tag called link tag. So the link tag can be used to include the external style sheet into the corresponding .html file. So the syntax for the link tag is within the head tag, you have to write the link tag. So what is the purpose of link tag? It is used to link the corresponding HTML file and the .css file. So link tag is having three attributes. One is the rel. So rel is nothing but a relation between the corresponding document and the corresponding HTML file, nothing but HTML file and the CSS. What is the relation? So CSS is a style sheet. And next one, type attribute. What is the type of the corresponding .css file? It is the extension of either text or style sheet, nothing but /css. Next attribute is href. So in the HTML document, which style sheet you are using, it will be mentioned in the href. So what is the .css file I am using? mystyle.css. So this href will indicate the target .css file. So where you can write this .css file. A .css file can be written as same as .html file. Nothing but it can be written inside any text document, nothing but a notepad. So how to save your file? A file name .css. So this is the example for .css file. Nothing but, so you can write only the different types of selectors. So here I am taking one more element selector, that is body. You are applying a color, background color is light blue, and for the H1 tag you are applying color navy and margin left. How to save this file? You have to use .css. In the .css file you don't write any HTML tags. So this will be the output for the corresponding style sheet. So here I am showing you a .html file. This is a .html file and this is a .css file. How to link these two files? By using the link tag. By using the link tag you are able to link the .css file and .html file. So you are applying these styles to this file. So how if you write a separate .css file, it can be linked to any number of HTML documents to which you want to apply the style. So here what I have written for the body, the background color will be light blue, and for whatever the content you will write inside the H1 tag, the color will be navy and margin left will be 20 pixels. If you see in the body, I had taken two tags. What are they? For the H1 tag, this is a heading. And next one is a P tag. For the P tag, what is the content? This is a paragraph. So these properties will be applied to this corresponding one.html file. If you see the output, this is the output for the corresponding .html file applying all these .css properties. So for the content in the H1, so what you had applied? The color will be navy blue, and next you will have the margin width will be 20 pixels. So you will have a width of 20 pixel width. And next, did you have applied any properties for the P tag? No. But we had given a background color will be light blue to all the content in the .html file. If you see here, the background is in the blue color. Next you are going to discuss about different CSS properties. So what is meant by a property? Nothing but a style applied to a corresponding element. Every property will have a different values. So if you want to apply a property, you must learn a CSS selectors. So these CSS selectors will target what element you want to apply the style. The CSS selectors will determine the what is the target element you want to apply the CSS properties. Next, CSS properties specify the what style you want to apply to the corresponding element. So first you are going to discuss about different text properties. So what are the different styles you are able to apply for the corresponding text. The first one is a color. You are able to apply different colors to your text. Nothing but select the color of the corresponding text. You can set different colors like RGB or some hexadecimal values, or you can give a color name to the corresponding property like color :red. Like this you can give a property to the corresponding text. Next one is a line height. Line height is nothing but how much height between the two lines. So it will set the distance between the two lines. So this is a one line and this is a one line. So this is the height between the two lines. Like this you can set a line height. Next one is letter spacing. Nothing but increase or decreasing the space between the characters. Like if you see here I am writing two characters. So what will be the space between these two characters will be defined by using letter spacing. And next one is text alignment. How to align the text. Whether it may be aligned in the center or it may be left or some right. Like this you can align your text in the web browser with the help of a text align. Next is the text decoration. Text decoration is nothing but whether how to add the decoration to your text. Like if this is a text ABC. For this you can put an underline or some overline or some line through the text. Like this you can apply a different text decorations. Next one, text indent. If you want to apply any indents to the first line of the text, then you have to use the indent property. And the next one is text transformation. Whether you want to control the letters of an element, nothing but either you want to make it appear in the uppercase or lowercase or normal. This can be controlled by using the text transform property. So you already discussed that you can give three values for the color. A color may be like you can give a name, or you can give some hexadecimal value, or you can give an RGB value. So like this you can give values to the color attribute. So where you have to write the styles, within the style tag, there you can write the different set of properties. So for the body, what is the content I had written? I had taken one H1 tag and two P tags. So for the body I am applying the color is blue. So this is the property you are applying for the text. And next for the H1 tag I am applying the color green. So for how many H1 tags I am having? One H1 tag and two P tags. But you are applying H1 to what is the H1 property you had applied in here? That is color green. If you see the output, so for the H1 tag, only the content will appear in the green, remaining all content will come in a blue color. So next property you are discussing in the CSS properties is list property. You are also able to apply different properties to the list. So already we discussed we are having different types of lists that are ordered list, unordered list and definition list. So first property is a line style. So if you use the list style, so it is having different properties. So it will set all the properties for the list in one declaration. Nothing but this property is also called as a shorthand property. So what are the values for this property are list style type, list style position, next list style image and inherit. These are the different values for this list style property. And next list style image. List style nothing but image will come as the list item marker. So what is meant by list item marker? Nothing but it will like the items like this, like ABC, like. So these are some of the items in the list. This is called as a list item marker. You can also make this marker as an image. So if you want to put an image as a marker, then you have to use a list style image. Next one is list style position. So position is nothing but where to place the list item marker, like under the text or if you see here under the text or outside the text. If you write a line like this, this is called as under the text. This is called as out of the text. Like this you can specify the list marker position with the help of list style position. Next one is list style type. So what is the type of item marker for you have to apply for the list of items, whether it may be a nun, disc, circle or some square or some decimal numbers. Like that you can apply different list item markers with the help of list style type. So this is the example for the properties of list. So here I am using the shorthand property, that is list style property. So this is the item marker, and next this is the position of the item marker, and next this is the image. Instead of marker you will get a image. So for these three items you will get the with a square shape with a image. So if you see this output for the items, so this is the square shape and this is the image. So you are getting a image as a marker for the list of items. So next property you are going to discuss in the CSS properties are border properties. So you are also able to apply a different properties to your border. The first one is a border property. So it will set all the border properties in a single declaration. The values for the border property are, the first value will be border width, and next you will give a border style, and next you are able to apply a border color. Next, what is a border bottom? So if you write some text, this is called as a border. A border may have 4 directions. So if a border bottom represents a line under the text, this is called as a bottom border. So it will set all the border properties in a single declaration. So next property in the border properties are border bottom color. So you are also able to apply a color to the border bottom, that is set the color of the bottom border. The values may be different border colors, like a color name like red color or some RGB value or some any hexadecimal value you can give to the corresponding border bottom. Next, border bottom color had been taken, and the next one is border bottom style. You are also able to apply different styles to your border, like the style of the border may be a border style, nothing but you can give a solid or some stripes, like that you can give a border bottom style, nothing but. So this is called as a solid line, or you can give some dash, like that you can give a border bottom style. The next property you are discussing in the border properties are border color. So it will set all the colors for the 4 borders, nothing but if you see here, this is called as a border for the corresponding text. So a border will have 4 directions, top, bottom, left and right, and next border left. So border left is nothing but for a text. So this is called as border left. So only a single side border will come to the corresponding text. So set the left border properties in a single line. You have to use the border left property. Next, coming to the border left color. So for this border left, you are able to apply a color to the border left with the help of border left color. The color may be the name of a color, like color equal to red, you can give to the corresponding property. Next, coming to the border left style. So you are able to apply a different style to the left border, like it may be a solid or some dashed line. Next, coming to the border left width. So you are able to apply a width to this corresponding border, like you can give some value like 30 pixel width or 20 pixel width. You can give the corresponding border left width. And next, coming to the border right. So in the same way, for applying the border at the right side, you are able to apply all these properties like border left color. In the same way, you can give border left width and next border left color. So like this, you can also able to apply properties to the border right. So you are able to apply border right color, and next you are able to apply border right style, and you are able to apply border right width. Now we already discussed different border properties. So border is nothing but you can apply for a text. If you take a text, you may have so many set of text, you are able to apply a border to the text. You can apply different borders to your text. A border may be a single border or a multi border, nothing but if you take a text, you may have border with 4 directions. If you take some text, you can write only a single border, either it may be left border or only it may be a right border, only it is a bottom border So this is left border, this is right border, this is bottom border. Next you are also able to apply a top border. So for every border you are able to apply a different properties. Nothing but you are able to apply colors, you are able to apply styles, or you are able to apply width to the corresponding border. Now you are going to discuss about a border shorthand property. So border shorthand property is nothing but an attribute followed by multiple values. If you take border attribute, it may have 3 values you can write. One is the border width. So you are writing border width. Next value you can write border style. Next value will be border color. Like this, for the single property you can add multiple values. So this is called as shorthand property. So this is the example. I am using the corresponding border property for the P element. So what are the text will be there in the P? For example, I had taken P tag, I had written the content, the text. So this is the content I had given in the P tag. So for this content I am applying the border property. So border is having 3 values. This is called as border width. Next this is called as border style. And next this is called as border color. So if you see in the output, so for this text, so border with a 5 pixel width. 5 pixel width is applied to the border. Next this is the solid line. Solid is the style that you had applied to the corresponding border with the color red. So what is meant by border style? So we already discussed that the border style property sets the style of a element. This property can have, for a border you can take 1 to 4 values, that is top, bottom, left and right. So you are having multiple values for the border style property. The first one is border style dotted. Next dashed line. Next you are having one more style, that is solid. Next double. Next groove style. Next ridge. Next inset, outset, none, hidden. And this is the style you are giving for the multiple directions. If you see the output for all these different styles, so these are the corresponding style values. This is a dotted border. So border will be in the dot format. And next this is called as a dashed border. So the border will be in the dashed format. Next this is called as a solid border. A thick line will be surrounded by the text. Next one, this is called as double border. Nothing but you will get a double border surrounded by the text. This is called as a groove border. So the effect depends on the border color value. Next one is, this is a ridge border. Next it is an inset, nothing but, so this and this directions only will be highlighted for the inset border. Next outset, outset is nothing but, so the bottom and the corresponding right side border will be highlighted. So this is called as outset border. Next no border means, so the text won't get any border. Next hidden border, so you don't have any border. Next you are able to apply 4 different styles to the border. So we already discussed that a border will have 4 directions. So if you see in the output, so if you see here, so I had given 4 different styles for a border. So this is nothing but dotted. So what is the first value? Dotted. So you will get the top border will be dotted. Next, what is the second value? So you had given dashed. So dashed will be applied to the corresponding right side border. So for the right side border you will get the dashed value. Next, solid border. So solid is applied to the corresponding bottom. So bottom border. Next, double. So double is applied to the corresponding left side border. So it is top, right, bottom, left. So in this directions it will take the values for the corresponding border. Next one is CSS border width. So border width property specifies the width of your border. So you are having a different border width values. So here I am taking 3 examples. So for the content in the P tag which is having a class name as 1. So for that I am applying the style solid with the border width of 5 pixels. Nothing but it is the width of the border. Width is nothing but this is the width. So this is called as width of the border. Next I am taking one more P tag with a class name 2. So for that content style is solid and you are applying the width is medium. You can apply width medium, thin or thick. Next class for P.3 class I am applying the style dotted with the width 2 pixels. Next one more example, the class which is having a class name 4. So for that selector I am applying the style as dotted with the border width thick. Now see the output. If you see here, so for the first thing the border is solid with a 5 pixel width. So this is the width of the corresponding content in the class. Next you are taking the class name 2. So for that you are applying the solid border with the medium thickness. Next you are taking the style dotted with the 2 pixel width. If you see here, this is a dotted border but it is of width 2 pixels. Next you are taking the dotted border. So again dotted border but it is of thick width. Like this you can apply different values to the border width property. Next you are discussing about different CSS border colors. So you are also able to give a color to your border. So if you see here, I am taking 3 examples. The class with the name 1. So for that content I am applying the border style solid and it will appear in the red color. Next I am taking the one more class name 2. If the P element is having the class name 2, so for that content the style will be solid and the green color will be applied. And next for the class name 3, the style is dotted and the color blue will be applied. Now see the output. So for the content in the P.1, so it will get a solid border with a color red. So this is the red color. Next for the P.2, so what you had done, you had taken the style solid. So this is the solid border with the color green. So this is the green color. Next you are taking a P.3. So for this element you are applying style dotted, but what is the color you had given? That is blue. So a dotted blue border will be applied. So here are some of the basic CSS properties you can work with. So these are the different sites where you have multiple examples to work out with the different CSS properties. Thank you.